which was November or so of 2002, I had been out there to the School of Americas a number of times in attendance for the funeral procession and the demonstration. In attendance. In any case, in that year, in 2002, John Deere was there, and I'm pretty sure it was him. And he lit a fire under me. You know, he was talking to all the youth in the Jesuit tent, big white tent. Now they moved inside, but it was just jam packed with college students, Jesuit college students, Boston College, all the colleges. They all sent a contingent to the School of Americas, this demonstration. But he said many things that just got me going, and that next morning I decided I was going to step forward. I remember one of the other workers said to me, Tom Noonan said to me, "Now, JC, don't get yourself in trouble here." And wouldn't you know it, I got myself in trouble. Sometimes you got to make some noise to make things obvious. A lot of people haven't heard about the School of Americas. But when you want to go and get something into the limelight, you could write your congressman, and you could tell people about it, and whatever it is. Sometimes you have to go and put a depth of sacrifice. Maybe that's it, a depth of sacrifice. And what I did is I had to put myself on the line, and I put myself on the line by stepping over it. I was arrested, put in Muskogee County Jail for 3 days, released, went back to court in February, and they said, well, you're a nice guy, and and all this other stuff, but basically we don't like dissent. And under the idea of the fact that you were trespassing, we're not really too concerned about the dissent, but because of that, we're going to give you 3 months to think about it. So I presented myself in April, and I spent 3 months in federal prison out in the Central Valley. It was a great time. It was a good retreat for myself. I had a chance to write people, and just as important, I had people that wrote me. When I went to prison, I was there by myself, some would say. And people say you can't get other people to do time for you. Both of which I don't believe in. When I went to prison, I went with many with me. I represented many people that needed to raise these issues and get them out of the light. Also, my different circles of support were with me. The Newman Hall people were with me, some of them. The workers were with me, most of them. The critical mass people, which is the women making every effort to be recognized by the Catholic Church, were with me. Many, many different groups that I had connected with were with me, so I was not there on my own. Many people wrote to me. I got 163 letters, and I kept them to this day. People that wrote me and sent me little bits and pieces from Berkeley to remind me that, it's not that far away. It's about 100 miles away. And I was able to call them on the phone and talk. I did a lot of letter writing. And it gave me time to think. When I got out of there after 3 months, some of the hot air that was within me was gone, perhaps, a little bit more calmer. I was arrested 7 days later out of Livermore Lab, but they just basically give you a ticket and let you go. So I guess when I was released from prison, I hit the ground running. So I think I've encouraged other people to stand up, maybe not to go to prison, maybe not to get arrested. Everybody has to decide what their response to critical needs are. In this sense, it's basically the idea of torture, which has come very much into the limelight here in the last few months and few years, especially with Guantanamo and some of the different torture things that are going on in the Eastern European venue with the sanction of the U.S. government. If we're letting our legislators and our rulers make poor decisions, we have to call them on this. And that's what I felt I was doing when I went out to the School of Americas and, as I say, stepped over the line. One of the nice things when we were put in jail that particular year, there was 86 of us that were arrested and incarcerated. That had never happened before. They'd have 1,000 or 5,000 that were arrested, but they just get little pieces of paper and taken out the front gate. That year there was 86 that crossed, and 86 actually were in jail for 3 days. And 46 of the 86 actually did prison time when they came back and went to the trial and everything. So it was fairly easy. I mean, I wasn't locked up with chains and manacles and neckacles or whatever they were, or led around. I was treated well, I gather. I was in a fairly new prison. It was only a year and a half old. One nice thing is Bill O'Donnell, who had done basically the same thing just prior to me, he got out just before I went in, so we sat down together and he gave me all the inside skinny on the prison, because the one he was getting out of is the one I was going into. So I figured out who to stay away from, who could be trusted, and gave me a few names. That helped a little bit. Fortunately, Bill died about 7 or 8 months after that point. Hell of an experience. I recommend it heartily. Many people have done this. We talk about Peter not being able to listen to Jesus, being basically taunted by him to love. Do you love me and to feed my people? Well, Peter went to prison too. I don't see myself as a modern day Peter, but I think I got maybe a little bit different swing on it if I've had a chance to experience some of these things that some of our early Christians were put to task on. And I'm grateful for it.